Hi, I'm Rob Oliver, and this is the second edition of Tailgate Talk here at Georgetown Auto Sales. And today I'm with my son, Tyler Oliver, who's also my partner here. And
Tyler Oliver here, like he said.
And he's been here since 1994 when he was 5 years old. And what was some of your first memories of Georgetown Auto Sales, Tyler?
My first memories, we actually had a batting cage out back here after practice, I think we actually had a couple practices back here. Actually, we had some of my good friends that I grew up with. We had some baseball practices. We had a pitching machine that actually could throw up to 100 miles an hour. My mom actually went in there, took a swing, and it hit her thumb, broke her thumb. That's a memory I have, kind of a funny one looking back on it. A couple other memories, I would I talked to customers even back then, played video games in here. We had a salesperson that I was playing King Griffey Jr. baseball, told him to lead off. He didn't know how to play. Of course, I played all the time. I picked him off real quick. It was real funny. I've been around salespeople since I was 4 or 5 years old, and I guess looking back on it now, it's kind of been in my blood. I kind of like to look at it that way. But yeah, those are some of my first memories. I have a bunch since then, but those are.
I can remember one of the first salesmen I ever had to fire here was one of your buddies, and he was
Jack.
an older gentleman. His name, but he was an older gentleman, and it taught Tyler about, what was the book?
30 or 100,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Yeah.
I ended up getting in trouble with my 5-year-old because I let go of his friend, and he cried in here when I did that. So that's a memory I have of that.
Yeah.
He was a good guy, just didn't work for our store. Some of my memories of him being here, and we go back, and we've been through baseball a lot. Tyler and I worked a lot doing that. He's looked at a lot of it. He's worked hard for what he did. He prepared hard for what he did. My dad always had a saying, and I grew up learning this, and he was a teacher, and it was his equation for success. And he always said, if you had talent plus effort, you could always succeed. And that was one of the things I've listened to him tell people, kids, he said in stands, and told kids of players and players of young kids that same equation for years and years. And what have you learned, Tyler, of equations?
Basically with him, he said he would always tell me to swing hard just in case because you might hit it. That's kind of how I look at life. Don't be scared to try, because even if you set the bar here and you try and you get there, you're still farther than you were on day one. So that's kind of one thing that I have so many sayings that he taught me and taught obviously my dad, Rob, but he was, like he said, he was a teacher. When he passed away a couple years ago, we had thousands of people coming to talk to us. But yeah, another one that he taught me that I'm sure Pop, grandfather, passed down was winners never quit and quitters never win. Several of my teammates and schoolmates probably remember him saying that from, Little League baseball or basketball. I can think of a few that would probably say it right now if they thought of a saying that Rob Oliver would say. That's something, just a couple of sayings. I'm big on sayings. I try to teach my stepdaughter Kendra that, come up with some things like that, and she's only 10, but teach her some things. So that's kind of how I look at it. Sports was obviously a big part of my life. I grew up playing baseball and basketball up until middle school. Tried to focus on baseball in high school. Basically, I kind of took sports into this business, but want to elaborate anything else on that?
No, what'd you learn really in sports?
Well,
your big
what I learned basically is you got to show up. If you don't show up, you'll be running around the track for the whole day. That's kind of how it works. But basically you got to work hard, teamwork and camaraderie. It's kind of moving from baseball after I got done playing in 2011. Played a little bit of pro ball actually with the Washington Nationals. Started here in 2011. Kind of knew I always was going to do that. Just because I loved it. Even when in the off seasons, I would go to the auction, drive vehicles. I was kind of a delivery driver, just to be a part of it over here in Georgetown, deliver them to Louisville, just trying to help because I didn't have anything to do after I'd get done working out and stuff. A couple of my other buddies did that with me.
I can remember an early story of him at an auction. I took him when he was like 4 years old, his first auction. His mother was working, and he had to go to the sale with me, and he didn't want to go. And I told him, I said, you know, for every car that I buy today, I'm going to get you a little action figure, those little men. I think they were maybe Ninja Turtles or wrestling guys or something like that. And I said, I'll buy you an action figure for every car that we buy. So that made him happy. So we were walking around, and at the time, the auction would let you go out and they'd let you have your child there, which they would never, ever allow that now for liability purposes. But I took Tyler around, and he was holding my hand. We walked out through the sale, and he found our first extended cab truck that I ever bought. He actually picked out, and that's the first one I bought, and we know how truck people. He helped me buy my first truck, and Tyler and I are we're terrible about buying trucks. We go out to sales, and we'll be trying to buy 6 or 7 cars, and we'll end up buying 2 high-dollar lifted trucks because we're truck people, and that's kind of how that got started. But we were at the sale that day, and I was looking at a car that I was going to buy, and he kind of tugged on my pants, and he said, why would you want to buy that car? And I said, because I like it. And he said, well, it's wrecked. And I said, no, it's not. And he said, yes, it is. And, you know, he was small. He was maybe 3 foot tall, and he was looking right at a dent along the bottom of the doors. So he saved me that day. So he's been buying cars since he was about 4 or 5 years old. And
that's my favorite thing to do is go to the auction. I'll tell another story about trucks. I don't know, this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. We went up to a auction up in West Virginia, and on the way up there, you know, it's a 2-hour drive. We always talk about what we're looking for. We said we need probably 5 or 6, maybe 7, you know, $10,000 cars. We had about $60,000 or $70,000 to spend. Well, we walk in, and the first car in the lane was a 2013 Denali diesel Duramax, lifted 8 to 10 inches, had 24-inch chrome American Force wheels, dually diesel, just low mileage. And, you know, we're looking at it. We end up buying that thing for about what we had to pay for it and walked out. We were there 10 minutes. We bought it and left.
Didn't have
any money left to buy any other cars, but that's just, and then I've probably had 25 customers mention that vehicle over the last couple of years. They still remember that vehicle. We've had Lotuses, Corvettes, Vipers, Razors. We've had a little bit of everything around here. But
when he started, I took the most important part of our business and I entrusted it with him because I knew with him being a partner in the deal and being involved in it, that the internet being as big a part as it is of our business, I entrusted that with Tyler because I knew when he took a picture and he did stuff, he was going to do it right because 1, he got paid for it, 2, it's part of his family. So, I mean, he's interested in that internet being correct. He is an internet guru. He sits at home at night, and I can't tell you how proud I am what he's made this company for me. He's taken it. He has ideas and expansion, and he's pushed me in the last few years to try to be better myself. He's wanted me to grow. He's pushed growth upon that. But he's taken over the internet, and he can tell you so many things. He'll look at this site, and he'll say, you know, our site's not quite up to where it needs to be, so let's look at another site. And I think we have one of the most innovative, adaptive sites that you'll see in the business, but that's due to him, and he can tell you.
Giving me a little bit of credit, but I don't like to take a lot of credit. But after I got done playing baseball, I started here. I basically started, like he said, taking pictures. Within 6 months, I was basically started waiting on most of the customers here. It was just me, him, and my mother, and one other lady that was here at the time. Within a few years from that, I started getting into finance, became an official partner in 2014. Again, we go to the auctions together every week. You know, as of last year, I was on vacation, and I get a phone call at about 11 a.m., and I don't answer it because I'm on vacation, not paying attention to my phone. It says, we got to buy this dealership over across town. If you don't answer your phone, it's going to be bought in about 20 minutes. I call him back and I say, what are you talking about? And he said, this is what you've been wanting to do. We've been wanting for another lot to be able to, kind of an overflow lot to be able to carry more vehicles. You know, do you think this is a good idea? I said, let's do it. So we did it, and now we got that other store at the other. We're getting it up and rolling. We have 110 now. It's actually a little low. We're trying to get to about 150, 140 vehicles total.
If we quit buying trucks.
If we quit buying trucks, we can't fit them anywhere.
We can get there.
That's right. But we made so many friends, family. You know, we got people that are technically family to me. We had a guy that bought his daughter in here the other day. He's a minister. He married me and my wife. We've had so many friends and family. But is there anything else you want to touch on? I mean,
now this place is our home. We're here almost every day. I mean, very rarely the day goes by that one or both of us aren't here almost all day. We live 5 minutes from here. We're Georgetown residents now. We were Lexington residents. We've grown up in Lexington, both of us. He went to Lexington Christian High School, signed with UK before he ended up going playing a couple years of pro ball. So I mean, we've been in the community here for a long time. I'm glad he's my partner. I know I can trust him as a partner, and I know that it's made me want to make this place bigger and better. And I think we've done that, and we've added a lot of good staff here. He's the push of that. He pushes. He's wanting the best people he can get. He's seen that as a value in a team. It does you no good to have one superstar if you can't get anybody on base to drive them in. So, we've got a whole bunch of guys that I would say are great people, and he's one of the reasons for it. So, this is Tailgate Talk. This is Tyler, and we're glad to have you all as our customers.
Signing off, Tyler Oliver.